Today's podcast episode will be a little bit different because it's also going to be going onto the YouTube channel. So today is a bit of story time about how I essentially became an entrepreneur, how I became obsessed with personal development, mindset, manifestation, all of that stuff. And basically just to share some things that I've been through in hopes that it will help you with whatever it is that you're currently going through as to why you made it onto this video and onto this platform and onto my YouTube and onto my podcast. I think when we look at people who are living what we say is our dream life, we think that it was either like easy to get there or they knew exactly the steps to get there, they knew the how. And I think sometimes we really don't appreciate the journey. And I know everyone says it like that the journey is the most important bit, but I'm hoping that by sharing how I started to how I got here, you'll see how the journey played such an important role into getting me here. If things hadn't played out the way they did, I wouldn't be here now speaking about the stuff I speak about, having the success I've had, and being so happy and content and fulfilled in my career, my business, with having goals and dreams and desires and knowing where I'm heading and knowing that I'm able to have those things. I wouldn't be in this position mentally had it not been for all the stuff that's happened to me in my journey. So where I basically started was working 9 to 5s, going from job to job. I kind of just fell into the career that I was in. I hadn't planned it. I'd actually done dance at college because I didn't know what to do at college. And then I did open university, which is where you study at home, because my mum said you have to go to university to be successful. So I picked business and leadership, which now in hindsight was probably a really good topic to pick. But I picked it just like I picked dance because I didn't know what else to pick. And then fell into jobs into the travel industry again because mum got me a job. I didn't have a passion for travel. And then one day my boss came to me and said, "You've been made redundant, or you could come to Cape Town and you can build up our department in Cape Town and you can live there." And this is like pre-kids. Me and my now husband were living together. We had animals, but we were like, you know what? This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And a lot of people actually told me not to go. A lot of people were surprised when we booked a one-way ticket. And I remember my husband, Louis, being quite on the fence about it. And one day I just texted him and said, like, I'm doing it. Like, I'm booking the ticket and I'm going. And that same day he handed his notice in. So we flew out on a one-way ticket. We packed all our bags. We left our house, left our animals, packed everything into storage. And I'd never been to Africa or Cape Town or anywhere like further than 2 hours away before. I was super naive. And I think I thought that the company would take care of me, that they would do certain things. And it just didn't work out that way. And then the job role itself was very demanding, as you can imagine, starting up a whole new department in another country. But I took a lot away from this. We really did like live our best lives at the weekends and we had an incredible time. Family came out and visited us and we went exploring around South Africa. And it taught me a lot. It taught me how to hustle because I was working every night, every weekend. It taught me what a company will and won't do for you. I remember working towards a promotion and a bonus, and it was a 12-month like period that you had to get the bonus for. And the bonus was only £1,000. And they told me in month 12 that I hadn't hit it because a different department hadn't hit their goals. So they changed the parameters and I was out £1,000 and I'd planned on spending that money. And it just really opened my eyes to corporate life if you're unlucky to fall in with a company that maybe doesn't treat you the best and maybe doesn't value you and appreciate you. And so we decided to leave in the end. And although they did call me and offer me everything I wanted, they offered me more money, they offered more help with Louis' visa, they offered more help with the apartment. They didn't give us a car or anything like this. So they'd offered to help with all of that. They didn't give us an apartment. We had to find it ourselves. And we just decided, we're done with this. And it was in that moment that both of us kind of realized we wanted more. We realized that maybe actually, if we wanted to have success and have this lifestyle and travel the world and also be fulfilled at work and be able to take care of our own needs and not have to worry if I'm going to be made redundant or not get a bonus and be in control of our income a little bit more, then we would need to be self-employed. We just didn't know what that looked like at the time. So we came home knowing that we wanted to do something for ourselves, but we had no idea what that looked like. And so fast forward, I start brainstorming ideas for businesses. However, in this moment, my intent was all wrong. I was looking for a way to make money from home, be my own boss and be in control of my income. I wasn't looking to put value out there. And so I fell into a company called Copper Prints, where I basically did like prints for your home. So the prints that you'd like put on your walls. And they were great. And I found artists and then I printed their work and it was all done remotely. So I didn't have any inventory. I didn't package anything. I found a company that drop shipped for me. We got onto Not on the High Street, which was really popular, really good, but I just wasn't passionate about it and I couldn't see how it would scale. And my heart wasn't in it, right? I'm not an artist and I'm not somebody that is really that into art. I was doing it as a means to the end for all the wrong reasons. So then when I was approached about a company called New Skin, which is network marketing, I had no understanding of what network marketing was. I had never heard of it, had never heard of the company. The girl that had spoken to me about it was living the life that I wanted. And I was like, right, okay, I can see her traveling the world. She's in control of her income. She's her own boss. And what's the main thing was that, like, freedom aspect of she can choose when she works and where she wants to work from, but also she has the funds to be able to do that for herself. When she told me that business was free, I was like, you know what? I really have nothing else to lose. And if it doesn't work out, worst case scenario, I've got a few skincare products. So I went all in with New Skin and I did have quite a lot of success to begin with. However, this was 8 years ago. So I was doing the business and it was a little bit cringy. I was all over my social media. This was before Instagram stories, before Instagram, really, before TikTok, anything like that. So I was like hammering my Facebook page in the messenger, speaking to people, cold messaging people, asking about the business and the products. And it just wasn't very sustainable. And although I love the products, I love the business model, it makes so much sense that you can make money from your phone. I love that it's free to get started. So anyone with any skill from any background is able to get started and make money. Like, the whole business model as a whole made so much sense to me. It was the execution, and I wasn't comfortable. So then I kind of like was falling out of the business a little bit because I wasn't showing up and I didn't know another way to build it, right? I hadn't been taught another way. So I was like, oh, I don't feel comfortable leading these people if I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And then there was a moment where I had a bit of a falling out with some of the girls within my business over a misunderstanding. And it really, really knocked me. It knocked my confidence. I was then questioning if I was a good leader, if I was doing the right thing. And I think in that moment, it felt like hell and it felt like everything was crumbling around me. But I needed to go through that in order to become the person that I am today. Like, I needed to go through that. And I think it's good to question those things. Am I a good person? Am I doing the right thing? I think these are important questions to ask yourself when you are choosing a career and a business and you want to help other people and you're bringing other people into this. I actually think that's a really amazing space to be in because it makes you question your values and your intentions. But also, they do say, like, your new life will cost you your old one. And so I really, truly believe now, being on the other side of it, those things had to crumble for me to get me to where I am today. So if you're going through what feels like hell at the moment, I promise you it's normally because it's preparing you for something better. And those things have to fall away for better things to come in their place. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, I need to bring some money into the house, right? I'd had like my best few years in business when Oscar was, so my son, was born in 2020. I had like my best year in that year when it was during lockdown and business was booming and I was making, like triple what I was making in my old 9 to 5. So then when things started to fall away, I was like, oh, like, what am I going to do? And I need to bring some money in. And now Oscar's walking and toddling around. It's much harder to build a business around him. So I was like, I need a plan. So that's when I created my cleaning business, which I really did enjoy. It is something I have a skill in and it grew very quickly. So after like 2 weeks, I think I had like 4 members of staff. And like after 3 months, I had 10 members of staff and it was growing at a rapid pace. We had actually so much work that we didn't have enough staff for it. However, this produced other problems and made me realize other things that I do and don't want from business. And that's the beauty of this. Having gone through this journey over the past like 8 to 10 years, I now know exactly what I want from a business, what I want from life, what I will and won't tolerate. And one of those things that I found really tricky was staff. People not turning up, people calling in sick, being responsible for other people's livelihoods. Although it felt great on one hand, on the other hand, it is a lot of pressure and it does mean that you end up paying yourself last. That taught me a lot of lessons. I was ready to leave it. However, we were then depending on it financially. Wasn't something I was able to just walk away from, like cut ties immediately. And then interestingly, and this is what I love about manifestation, this is what a lot of my other videos will focus on, is that the minute I started to decide, you know what, this isn't the path for me. I know I want to do something else. I just don't know what it is. I was approached by a new startup company that were looking for somebody to come into the business in like a director position with potential to have like stake in the company, have amazing bonuses and basically be there from the ground up. And it was with fashion. So something that I'm really passionate about. Went to go and meet them. Like, they loved me, I loved them, loved the concept, was super excited. was an incredible pay and a lot of benefits. And I was like, you know what, this sounds great. Let's go for it. It was a few days from home and a few days in the office. But again, it's with fashion. So like surrounded by clothes. So I was like, that sounds great. Went and did that. However, that meant closing down my whole cleaning business. There was the option to keep it open, but in that moment, in like the first few days, it just wasn't possible. I was like trying to answer phone calls for cleaning clients while trying to sort out the staff while then still trying to build my business while still being a mum to Oscar. And I was like, this is too much. So I pretty much closed the business, the cleaning business, within like a few days, gave all of my staff, gave them all the cleaning clients, and I just walked away. Then I worked 3 months in this job. The money was absolutely amazing. The security felt great. It was a really challenging, really fun role, and I could see it growing into something more. There was just something missing. And there was a part of me that was really struggling with the whole like 9 to 5, which of course is never 9 to 5, right? You obviously, you often get there early. You work through your lunch, you're going home late. I was taking stuff home and working at the weekends. And although those things are needed in the beginning, I do believe for most startups, I felt like I wasn't in control of that because I wasn't my own boss, even with the promise of stake in the company. And I was like, I need to get out. I miss the freedom of being able to decide, oh, I'm going to work from the studio today, or yesterday, Oscar was sick. Okay, I'm going to spend the whole day with Oscar and I'm going to work in the evening. And I really, really miss that freedom and I crave that so badly. Like, I've been on holiday like 6 or 7 times already this year because I can take my laptop with me, I can take my phone with me, and I get to decide if I want to tap into work or not. So that only lasted 3 months, and then I walked away from that. And then I decided after all of that, after the last 8 years of going backwards and forwards with other business opportunities, with 9 to 5 jobs, I was like, you know what? The one thing that I keep coming back to is new skin. What I just didn't love was how network marketing is portrayed. I don't love the execution. I don't love how a lot of people are doing it. I don't agree with the cold DMs, the hey hun, reaching out to people I went to school with. I don't agree with like the whole like card hold hustling selling type of vibe. I was like, there has to be a better way. So I did a lot of research, and over the last 8 years I've probably spent close to like 10 to 20K on coaches. I've read over 75 personal development books. I've done courses, programs, manifestation courses, money courses, strategy courses, you name it. I have been on every course you can think of. And then the most recent one was about how to grow your business in attraction marketing way. So having people come to you, show up and being yourself, being genuine, being authentic, talking about the reasons why you love what you do, and people will come to you. So I reached out to my mentor who had also kind of left the business. And I was like, how do you feel about doing new skin, but we do it in our own way, which is how the highest self club came to be. And we've basically poured all of our knowledge, everything we've learned into the school app, which is a free app on your phone. So it's a self-paced course now with 7 steps plus like bonus episodes. We have weekly Q&A calls. We have guest speakers come in and talk about like how to grow on social media, how to grow on TikTok, what your messaging should look like, how to make content, your mindset behind it, like how to have a millionaire mindset, how to look after your finances, literally everything you could ever possibly need on how to grow a business and keep it and have it be sustainable and have it so people come to you and ask you questions about your product and your business is all in there. But it's partnered with New Skin because I was like, you know what? I could go and start another business. I could go back and do something like the Copper Prince thing or the cleaning company. But I was like, what I love about New Skin is the freedom of it and the fact that it's free to start. So you can literally start today for free and start building your business online and start making money. There is no other opportunity out there that allows you to do that for free. I'm really proud of how I got to this point, but it took me going through all those highs and lows. And I think this is like the law of polarity, right? In manifestation, is that if you want to experience this high, you need to know what it feels like to experience this low. And what's the alternative? The alternative is we just live this like life of plateau of like not really anything happening, nothing that exciting happening. So yes, you're gonna have highs that are like unbelievable, but then you are also gonna have these lows that feel so difficult. And I think for me, I almost had to hit that moment of like rock bottom of like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Something needs to change for me to get to this point. And if I hadn't have gone through all those different business models, all that training, all those courses, paying for those coaches, some that were absolutely amazing, some coaches that I feel like, what a waste of money. But I had to go through that to have the knowledge to also become the person I am, to have the thicker skin, to be better at managing a team, to be able to speak better without umming and ahhing. Like I needed to be able to do those things in order to sit here today. So if you're going through a moment and you're thinking, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know what my calling is, I don't know how to get there. I'm like, great, I would love to have what you have, Emma, but there's no way I could possibly get there. You will be put through by the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, challenges to shape you into the person you need to be. So that thing that you are struggling with isn't a boulder in the way of your path. It is the thing that you have to learn to get over to get you to the next bit. And that's one thing that I would say that if you take away from this episode is that those challenges and those difficulties aren't there to stop you. They're there, in fact, actually to make it quicker, to grow you into that person. There's a reason why you don't have the dream life you say you want right now, and it's because you're not the person who is in alignment with that. So you have to become that person, which is the highest version of you, which is why we called it the highest self club, because that is the version of you that is aligned with that. That is the version of you that can handle that. Like if I gave you now a huge business with 100 people in your team or 100 employees, would you be able to handle it? Probably not, because you need to go through the challenges, you need to go through the difficulties and the struggles to make you into that person who can handle 100 people in your team or in your business, or 10,000 followers or 50,000 followers. You need to be able to handle the fact that that comes with a lot of people that might not like you. So if you can't stand one person not liking you, how are you going to handle it when 50, 100, 10,000 people don't like you or don't agree with you? So yeah, that's it from me. And then there'll be way more happening on my YouTube channel, going into more depth, going in depth on more things like manifestation, mindset, business, some skincare bits in there, and everything else you need to know about how I got to this point and how it can help you and how you can grow into your best version. If you look at who I was like 4 years ago, I'm a completely different version. And I'm so proud of that because I've been through a lot of challenging times that has got me here. And I want to help you get through those things easier and quicker so it doesn't take you, 4 to 10 years, basically. So if you've got any questions about anything you want to know more about, please let me know in the comments and I will make sure I cover it. Thank you for listening.